Alright, I've wanted to get down to this canyon for a long time. I'm so happy to finally be here. Let's go check it out.
Those people I ran into earlier today at the canyon overlook were also headed this way and seemed to be nervous about driving this road down to the river, but I don't think this is going to pose the slightest issue for their trucks.
There's those people that I ran into at the canyon overlook. They were a little nervous about coming down that road, but their trucks, I'm sure they're fine.
To the river we go. Leave our worries on the shore and drift away. On the river we know. Sometimes the perfect words are never said. I spilled my coffee, I don't feel like talking. My worries just keep growing by the day. I need a moment where green and blue appear, to spin a rock and watch the ricochet. To the river we go. Leave our worries on the shore and drift away. On the river we know. Sometimes the perfect words are left unsaid. You could change your mind when you're intertwined with the water and the waves.
The intention for tonight is to camp on the gravel bar across the river. It's a more spacious area and, weirdly, there are almost no bugs on that side, unlike this side, which has a lot of standing water from warm springs trickling out of the hillside.
Not looking good.
Following the crossing straight across is looking dangerously deep, but I'm walking some alternate lines to see what I can find.
So I think we were hoping to camp more over on this side. It's sort of nice down up in there. So there's a big rock something right there. You definitely don't want to hit that. The water was definitely shallower, sort of coming across like that. Rather than going straight across, it was definitely deeper. But where it's shallower, it's also much swifter. And it's still not what I would call shallow. It might be wadable, but it's a lot of current there. I don't know. I'll see what George and Casey think when they show up. So I've just I set up the awning for now so I could get a little bit of shade. Meanwhile, I have been sweating since 7 o'clock this morning. I'm gonna go down and get completely in the water. Oh man, I'm eager to just be completely wet.
I hope you find this place before you end your days. And if you see me out there, wave hello.
I'd like to take a moment to thank Jackery for being a sponsor of Soft-Roading the West. Support from Jackery makes it possible for me to get out here, and my Jackery Explorer 500 makes it possible for me to keep all my cameras and other devices running and ready to film at every moment. Navigating, driving, and filming can get a bit hectic, and it's difficult to keep things plugged in and charging while traveling the backcountry. The Jackery Explorer 500 allows me to get all my gear powered back up each night. I appreciate that I can recharge the Jackery at home, plugged into my car while I drive, or hooked up to my Jackery Solar Saga 100-watt solar panel. That's George of Southwest Idaho Overlanding, and man, that is one seriously cool old Jeep.
Well, that trailer's floating. That trailer's floating.
Those guys all took the deeper line straight across. I'm just refreshing myself on my planned sidetrack around that hole.
I got 10 inches there.
Are you sure?
Alright, I did indeed make it across. I was a little nervous about maintaining forward momentum and came in a little faster than I should have, which resulted in a wash of water up over my hood. But it was fairly superficial, and ultimately the actual water level was always well below my air intake, which is up high behind the grill on the passenger side. I feel like I got a decent bow wave formed here, which you can see has created a pocket of shallower water behind it for the car to travel through. A couple of inches can make all the difference. This is the deepest moment of my crossing, and you can see I've got probably 5 or 6 inches here from the water to my intake. Beyond this point it just got shallower, but still deep enough that I was getting some buoyancy, which made it more difficult to gain traction on the slippery, algae-covered rocks. The current was stronger across the shallower riverbed, and combined with a bit of float I had, the car was getting pushed a little bit sideways, but I had just enough purchase on the bottom to keep moving forward and across. This was admittedly a somewhat treacherous crossing for this car, and I never ever would attempt something like this when I'm out solo. I do like to take the opportunity to push the limits when I'm with buddies and 4x4s who can assist with the recovery if needed. Such opportunities have allowed me to gain a much better feel for just what this Forester is capable of. But a crossing like this should never be attempted when you're out by yourself.
Camp all set up. I survived the river crossing.
I don't get that.
This is George, Southwest Idaho Overlanding. He's got a YouTube channel also, and you should definitely check it out. It's thanks to him that I even found this spot in the first place.
Well, thanks.
This is Iroh, and he doesn't trust me yet.
Iroh, go say hi.
I know you want to come see me.
Hold on.
I know you
Let's
do.
get a treat for you.
Oh. I could eat that. Lucky dog.
Iroh.
I only have rocks here.
Come on. Come here. Look. Come here.
Again, super simple tonight. Just cooking up some boneless, skinless chicken thighs and some ramen. Just simmering that chicken in the same teriyaki sauce that I put on my tuna burger last night. Alright, I mixed those noodles in with the chicken, and it's looking pretty good. Alright, I think they finished eating, but I'm going to go join the Southwest Idaho Overlanding crew anyway.
Like in October or maybe even November, so there wouldn't have been hardly any water.
Right.
And most of it we did in the dark.
So you guys probably already know who this is. Casey, Coyote Works, and he was traveling with George for the past, what, 4 or 5?
Yeah, this is day 4 for us.
This is day 4, and it just happened to work out that they were coming this direction. When I was coming this direction, I had this spot in mind from watching George's videos, and so we met up here last night and finally got to meet Casey. So if you haven't watched Casey's channel, why don't you tell them what your channel is about?
Yeah, in a nutshell, I do primarily solo, kind of exploring all over Oregon. Some of my I guess my core themes with the channel are really trying to find like the most remote places that I can, and then tracking down history is, I would say those are kind of the 2 themes that stay reoccurring.
Yeah, one thing I really love about Casey's channel is the historic stuff that he finds, and he really goes into depths. He sees clues, and I mean, it's really, really fascinating. If you are interested in the historical stuff at all, this is a great channel to watch.
I love the history. That's my driving force, my passion. You know, usually it's always searching for some piece of history.
And on top of that, unbelievable, gorgeous Oregon desert scenery. It's just, check it out.
Awesome.
Nice meeting you,
Donald,
Casey.
nice to meet you, man. This was really cool.
It was awesome to finally
for this last night.
Exactly, yeah. What I've discovered is that the water level is actually higher this morning than it was yesterday. The rock that I noticed yesterday is no longer making a rapid. It's actually further below the water. So I'm feeling a little bit more nervous about going back across. I have no choice. This is the way we have to get out of here.
We're looking at a line even further downstream. The current is much more swift, but it's significantly more shallow. It's a sharper climb up onto the bank, but looks doable. Here's the line the trucks took yesterday, and here's how I got across. This is the line we're planning to get back across the now slightly deeper river, which looks promising. We're still going into it with an emergency plan.
So we found a line that is probably going to be shallow enough. We've hooked up a strap to the car just in case we need to quickly get a hold of me and pull. Worst case scenario is I might have some difficulty coming up that far bank, but I'll be out of the water, and so Casey can always winch me or something like that.
George is going to hit it first, and we'll see what it looks like.
Up over the fender.
Yeah, that's reassuring. It's much shallower there.
That line that George took looked really good. It wasn't too deep. I think I can get up onto that same bank that he drove up onto. So I'm going to follow that same line. Casey's still going to come down anyway, just in case I have trouble getting up the bank and needs to winch me out. But I think I can do what George just did. One of the things I didn't think of yesterday when I crossed was switching traction control off, and so when I got some wheel spin between the algae on the bottom of the river being a little bit slippery and getting a little buoyancy from the water, the traction control would have been applying brakes to some of the wheels, and that is not what we need in this case. So this time I'm going to make sure I've got traction control switched off. Thanks for being there, Casey, just in case. That ended up being easier than yesterday.
Yeah.
That was a better line.
Like it came in
Yeah. Whew.
Brian, you got your radio on you?
Made it.
It was easy. It was easier than yesterday.
Looked easy.
We're about ready to work our way out of the canyon and back across the desert, but we've got some fuel issues. Casey travels with ample extra fuel. However, one of his gas cans experienced a failure during their 4-day trip, and he's run out of reserve fuel. Fortunately, as I fueled up yesterday morning, I've got plenty in the tank to get me to the next town, so we're using my extra gas to keep Casey rolling.
Yeah, that's true. It would take 3, wouldn't it? So it actually takes 3, at least 3?
But the algae hanging down off your rear axle looks really awesome.
I did not know that was back there.
They got us, George. We can keep moving. Is there or is there not a practical crossing there, whether it be a ford or any type of crossing at this point in modern times? Like, is it feasible to consider that as a crossing point?
Yeah, and I guess technically it's not even really considered a crossing point. The road gets really bad. Going up to the hot springs there's a place that you have to have a pretty capable four-wheel drive with walkers on it. Boys on horseback.
Well, now George has run out of gas, and the rest of us are taking the opportunity to air up, as we'll be back on pavement soon. We've all made it to the gas station, where we're fueling up before saying our goodbyes and heading off in various directions.
Alright, well everyone has gone their separate ways off to wherever they live in Idaho and Oregon. And I'm back on my own. I'm heading out to some lava. So we'll take a look at that and